Hello guys, and welcome back to the channel. So now guys, Nigerians are eternal optimists. They really are, but I am not sure if it is optimism or naivety. I shall leave you guys to decide on that at the end of this video, and please come into the comment section to tell me where you were. As guys, I bring you this Edo election results. Nigerians reveal what will happen if Obaseki defeats Ize Iyamu. So that's the headline. The speculations are already coming in because Obaseki now, to all intents and purposes, is in an unassailable lead. So again, the headline, Edo election results. Nigerians reveal what will happen if Obaseki defeats Ize Iyamu. So now let's now see what sort of optimism is at play here. A cross-section of Nigerians have revealed what will happen if Governor Godwin Obaseki defeats Pastor Osage Ize Iyamu. So far, Obaseki, who is contesting under the People's Democratic Party PDP, is in an early lead against APC candidate Ize Iyamu. Some Nigerians reacting to the results announced by INEC so far opined that the defeat of Ize Iyamu will cause a change in politics in Nigeria. So now you already see the optimism there. They are looking at this one result and putting the expectation and hope that it will lead to a seismic shift. But then of course, we all know better, at least some of us do. We carry on. According to them, Obaseki's win will put a stop to Godfatherism and lead to a revolution against it in Nigeria at large. So now you now see that this is just wishful thinking. Now let me give you that again. According to them, Obaseki's win will put a stop to Godfatherism and lead to a revolution against it in Nigeria at large. So that is just buying a lottery ticket at a 1,000,000 to 1 chance, a 1,000,000,000 to 1 chance even. This result is not going to really impact on anything. They are going to play this down. Anyway, I'll do my summation at the end of the narration. Let me just give you the gist of it, and then we'll discuss it at the end. It carries on. However, a few others mentioned that tables could turn and Obaseki could end up being a godfather himself if declared winner of Edo election. Here are some comments gathered by correspondents on our Twitter. So now here is what Nigerians are saying. So we go to the first character, Ayomojuba. Ayomojuba is the name of the first commentator. If Obaseki wins this election, expect a full-blown revolution against Godfatherism in this country. So you see the wishful thinking right there. Tolu Phil is the next commentator. Tolu Phil. I hope Obaseki wins. Godfatherism should be abolished for the country to move forward. So we all agree with that sentiment, but will it happen is really where the question is. Candy Billion is the next person to pipe up. Candy Billion, and this is what Candy Billion has to say. The outcome of this Edo election have shown that power truly resides with the people. No godfather can effectively rig without the cooperation of the people. Obaseki should ensure that he paid the people back with good governance for their vigilance. So there's nothing at all to disagree with this sentiment here. This guy has not really, this is a sitting on the fence sort of comment by this particular chap that is making this comment. So he's saying that the outcome has shown that power lies truly with the people. Well, power has always laid with the people, but how the people vest that power is the $1,000,000 conundrum within the Nigerian space. Is there's no country in the world that the power doesn't lay with the people, doesn't lie with the people, but how the people vest that power is really the question. Any country in the world, there are not more than 100 people that are actually calling the shots, and the population are usually in the millions, the tens, if not the hundreds of millions. In the Nigerian example, is in the hundreds of millions, because according to their statistics, which of course only a fool would believe, there are 200 million Nigerians. But then of course we know that they are counting their goats, and if you ever travel through the north, then you would not see that population that they claim they have, because a lot of it is just arid, fallow land, and then you drive, and then you come across a cattle herd and a shepherd, and then you drive again, and you see a small settlement with a village, and I don't know where they're claiming this population that they have is resident. Anyway, that's a different story. I do tend to digress sometimes in these videos, as a lot of you who follow this channel would have noticed. But of course, power resides with the people is really what I was agreeing with this guy's comment. And he says, no godfather can effectively rig without the cooperation of the people that's already captured. Obaseki should pay the people back. So yes, I agree pretty much with the thrust, at least, of that guy's comment, his expression. If not the way he has expressed it, I agree with the sentiments behind it. So we go on to the next person. Boluwan is the name of the next commentator. Boluwan, after the victory of Obaseki, Insha Olodumare, so this one is now using Insha Allah to mean Insha Eledumare. So after the victory of Obaseki, Insha Eledumare, Ambode will have to come and collect past questions and necessary materials from Obaseki. So now, the underpinning of this comment I agree with as well, because I too thought that Ambode gave up too feebly in that battle for Lagos State, because Ambode is quite popular in Lagos State, but Tinubu has control of the APC structure. So now when Tinubu decided to remove Ambode from the run-ins, from this second term bid, what I thought Ambode should have done was exactly what this Obaseki did, to cross over to the next party and battle it out with whoever Tinubu presented. And I'm pretty certain that he would have defeated Sanwo-Olu if it was Ambode versus Sanwo-Olu, because Ambode was an active governor and a performing governor within the Lagos State space. So he would have defeated Sanwo-Olu, but then of course there's a very good chance that he would not have gotten that space, that Lagos State governor space, because one, Lagos is the largest voting bloc within the Nigerian space, and Lagos is the most vibrant economy, not just in Nigeria. Lagos is actually the 20th largest economy in Africa. So Lagos is a very important space, and there's absolutely no way that they would have allowed Ambode, whether he wins or not, to take charge of Lagos State for the opposition party. Of course, especially for the voting bloc, and more so for the economy of the state. So the two combinations, really, they are never going to cede it, but at least he would have tested that by crossing over and battling it out, because now he yielded that space because he has sounded advice, and they've told him to yield space to Tinubu effectively, not to Sanwo-Olu, because Sanwo-Olu, of course, he came out with a lot of data that the guy had mental health difficulties in the past and drug habits, etc. So he was primed to take on Sanwo-Olu. So he was confident that he could take on Sanwo-Olu, but then of course he would not be taking on Sanwo-Olu. He would have had to take on Tinubu, and that he balked at. So he should have done that, because Obaseki has shown the bravado, and all the indications are that he could possibly win this election. And let's carry on. I'm saying he could win, but that is subject to a lot of provisos, by the way. He could win, and Buhari would decide that he's not going to be governor, and that is the end of it. Or he could win, and Tanko Mohammed would do like Hope Uzodinma on him, and that will be it. So winning the election is not the victory in Nigeria. And if you don't believe me, go and ask Emeka Ehidioha. So we carry on. Brian J. Dennis is the name of the next commentator. Ambode versus Obaseki. So he's going on with that theme that Bolanwo started. So Ambode versus Obaseki. Both men were rejected by their godfathers. Both men tried to put up a fight, except of course Ambode never really put up a fight. Ambode was a coward. Obaseki is taking the fight to his godfather. Even if he loses, he will be remembered for fighting. And that was exactly what I was just saying in my rather long-winded way just a moment ago. So, Star Konzi 16. I don't know where these people get these funky names from, but at Stankonzi 16 is the name of the next commentator, and this is what he has to say. Obaseki's victory today will be instrumental in putting an end to godfather politics in Nigeria. Dream on is the only thing that I have to say to that. The next one up, Sadiq or Sidak 06. I did say they have funky names. Sidak 06 is the name of the next commentator. We will rise against Obaseki if he tries to play godfather after his tenure. So that is what he has to say. And this one, I'm not even going to attempt this name because it's just too convoluted. But the next commentator has this to say. If Obaseki wins the election, those people from Oshiomole's PU, I don't know, maybe polling unit that means. So those people from Oshiomole's PU will suffer it, while Oshiomole will be in Abuja enjoying the money he stolen when he was governor. So, I mean, the entirety of that I agree with, except of course not knowing what PU means. But if Obaseki wins, that's the end of Oshiomole in that space, because it's just going to cut off Oshiomole's structure completely, and if he then gets that 4-year run-in, he will just wipe out anything Oshiomole from the state. So that's what that guy has to say, and again, I agree with the thrust of the sentiment, if not the wordings of it. So we go on to the next one. I just want to capture, because really this video is about what people are making of it. So this is what people are making of it. Another funky name coming up next, Stivolo 51. Stivolo 51 is what this character calls himself. As Obaseki will hopefully be announced the winner, let it be on record that Edo people simply fought to emancipate themselves from the brutal claws of the godfather. They resolved to lay down their lives to achieve this, not because of any special attributes in Obaseki. So I agree with a lot of the things that this guy is saying. Perhaps not the latter part, but the earlier part. So he's saying that the Edo people are fighting back, and their fight back is not really fighting for Obaseki, but fighting against Oshiomole, because they don't want their state turned into Lagos State, where some person will be playing God Almighty over the faith of the entirety of the millions of people that constitute that space. And you know that Edo people are notoriously dogged anyway. They know their mind, and they know what they want, and they know what they don't want. So I agree with the thrust of that. So there are two more comments coming up before we round it all off. Another funky name, Hyperman J, is what this element calls himself. Hyperman, or Hype Man, not Hyperman, but Hypeman J. And this is what Hypeman has to say. Obaseki wins the election. Obaseki becomes the reigning godfather. And this is really the fear, really, because of course it's a David and Goliath situation at the moment, and everybody tends to back the underdog. But really, I agree with the caution that is emanating from these comments, that this character of Obaseki, if he does win, there is a real possibility, and he has to be guided by people of knowing and elders so that he doesn't turn himself into a demigod as Oshiomole did, that's now led to this situation that we find ourselves. Because of course you remember that Obaseki was with APC and was set to run for another term, but then of course Oshiomole wanted to show potency as a copy of what Tinubu did in Lagos State, and he decided then not to let that guy get the ticket to run. You all know the story anyway. I don't have to recount it to you. So that's what led to this point. So we round it off with the final comment. Fumigator is now this element that we're contending with. Fumigator, this person calls him or herself. If Obaseki wins, he will later want to be a godfather himself. Mark my words. And he ends that with an exclamation mark. So now this is now the feel and the tempo of the Nigerian people regarding what is emerging from this election. They are all anticipating an Obaseki victory, and a lot of people are anticipating, by the way, an Obaseki victory. And that Obaseki victory, if he wins that election, it will be very difficult for these people to then snatch it away from him, because the international community, you remember, if you follow this channel, I did several videos on the American ban of corrupt politicians in Nigeria, and they deliberately announced that on the eve of this election to say that, look, enough is enough of what you people are doing in Nigeria, just writing results and announcing who you wish as an imposition on the people, to the point that Buhari had to respond to this, that they are encroaching on the sovereignty of Nigeria, etc. So all eyes are on this election and the Ondo State elections coming up next month. So if they try to play all of those either Hope Uzodinma tricks or using Tanko Mohammed to declare something, or giving the INEC guy extra dollars if they try any of their old tricks, this one might be that step too far, because we are in the midst of a global situation at the moment, a pandemic at the moment, where the whole global economy is on shutdown, and if Nigeria cannot access funds because it becomes a pariah state, maybe we'll go back to trade by barter that we were doing when Buhari was head of state then back in the 80s, because of course he turned Nigeria into a pariah state then, and it looks as though he's turning Nigeria into a pariah state now. Conversations in the comment section, the people have spoken now. What says you? Come share thoughts. But before you do that, click on the red subscribe button so it turns gray. The bell button notifies you every time I drop a new video. Click on like as well, because that helps with the YouTube algorithm. Once you've done the clicking, you've heard several people's opinion. Now come express yours in the comment section, where I will join you to engage. So I'll leave you here. Carry this conversation on with you in the comment section, but here I say peace.